Hey guys, Hannah Howard Bink here, and I'm on a mission to master marketing. Today, I'm going to be talking about copywriting. Specifically, how do you know if it's any good? So last month, I worked with a few people on the team, and we came up with a way to incorporate test-driven development into copywriting. And for those of you that don't know what test-driven development is, it's something I've written about on my blog before, I'm a huge proponent of. How do you build testing into the actual development of your work? And in this case, writing copy for a website. How can you test it before you launch it? I'd love to say I came up with this all by myself, but I'm not that smart. I stole this idea from a blog I stumbled upon written by the incredibly intelligent Tommy Walker. Tommy used to be the editor-in-chief for CXL and is the current editor-in-chief for QuickBooks Resource Center. So back in his CXL days, Tommy wrote this blog post called "How do you know if your copy is any good?" Which is exactly the kind of question I was trying to answer. So based on the information in the blog, I think this methodology was originally designed for testing ad copy, but we challenged ourselves. Could we apply this to web copy? So here's how we set it up. Use a 4-point scale. 1, I absolutely would not read past the headline. 2, probably won't read on. 3, I'd read on with some level of skepticism, and 4, I would definitely keep reading. And on that 4-point scale, we also had half measures, so if you were somewhere between two, you could tell us. Our hypothesis was our headlines would be interesting enough that they'd score a 3.5 or higher on that 4-point scale. The copy, the body, would score 3.2 or higher. We needed to identify people to test the copy with, have each participant rate both the headlines and the headlines with the copy. We actually got a really good sample size. We were able to find 11 people inside the company and 12 people outside the company that represented people sort of like our customer group, but were in our personal network and said, "Hey, can you do me a favor? Would you read something for me?" The vast majority of the people we tested outside the company were familiar with the basic concepts behind our products, but were not actually aware the product existed, which was perfect. That's what you want in a test group. The second largest group were aware that the product existed, but had no firsthand experience with it. Great! We ended up setting up the test in just a Google form, unmoderated. Log in, you get a headline, how likely are you to keep reading? Next page, headline plus copy. How likely are you to keep reading? We did that over and over again for a few different pages we were testing. So what did we learn? Well, I learned that my coworkers are a lot nicer than external testers. And that's okay. On average, external readers were much more skeptical of any statements we put in front of them, especially statistical ones. However, they were more inclined to keep reading when they saw statistics versus the people internally who assumed people already knew that, which was fascinating. So one big takeaway is if you're going to do this kind of testing, try to get external viewpoints, preferably people who don't already live and breathe the product. Second thing I learned is people really want to see content customization and personalization. As marketers, we talk about ABM all the time. We talk about making things personalized. On one page, we even gave case studies that supported the benefit statement we were making. And some of the feedback we got was, "This is great, but I don't personally relate to any of these businesses." How do you accommodate every possible permutation of industry settings? Well, that's a technical challenge, but more importantly, do you think you would have caught that if you'd just written the copy and pushed the web page live? Probably not. Getting that kind of detailed feedback allows us to go back into the company and say, how do we solve this problem? Is this a problem we want to solve? And number 3, I learned that benefit-driven content works really well. Don't shy away from just calling out the product benefits, especially if you can back them up with statistics and then case studies. Our goal was 3.2 out of 4 for copy. How likely are you to continue reading? The external users that most closely represented our target customer gave us a 3.1. So, hit the hypothesis? No. Do I think we're on the right track? Yes. Can I say confidently to my boss, this is what we should do? Yeah, because now I have data to back it up. I'm Hannah Howard Bink. I hope you've gotten value out of this. If you like this kind of content, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you have questions or topics you'd like me to cover in a future video, be sure to leave them in the comments below.